Hello and welcome to the Fedora Files. I'm Gregory Fedora, and with me today is Sarah Celeste Coleman. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I'm really excited. Now, I'm going to briefly introduce you, and I'm going to let you just explain all that is you. Like what I know of you is that you make amazing food, and I've had it through, and I don't want to say the name wrong. So, what is the name of where your
Emoji, emojis.
emojis?
Uh-huh.
Emoji soul food. Now, it's phenomenal. It's like when we found you, it like changed our lives in the most wonderful way possible. I'm one of these, like, I will eat pretty much anything, but then when I had your food, I was like, oh, this is really good.
Oh,
And
thanks.
it was like I have to admit I was skeptical when we saw all the posts, and my sister-in-law said, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, what is this all about? Where am I going? Like, I didn't know. I just went, and then I bought the food, I ate it, and then I was like, we got to do that again. And
Oh,
but can you tell me, like, it's soul food? What exactly is soul food? What does that mean, like, to you?
to me, I think soul food is comfort food.
Mhm.
Like if I'm depressed, if I'm down, I want something, food that's gonna hug me. Mashed potatoes and gravy, collard greens, fried cabbage. I won't say we made like struggle meals or anything like that, but like coming up, in it, I don't want to say, well, okay, black families, coming up in black families and stuff, we would have, meals that would stretch and
Mhm.
stuff. So we would have, my mother cooked like maybe 2 or 3 times a week because there were five of us, five children. And, it's just soul food to me is like comfort food, like a hug from God, I would say, on a plate,
Right.
if you can
So,
imagine.
eating your food, it did feel heavenly, and like I felt the hug, and it is phenomenal. It's like I fell in
Thanks.
love with your food. It's like my wife can tell you. I like,
Oh,
like
I
probably
appreciate
too much. I gained weight, but I needed to, so that was good. But
it.
so your mom was a cook. She cooked, and did you learn from her? Are the recipes you use, are they like family recipes, or just things you've come up with over time on your own?
Some things I watched my mom cook. I watched my grandmother cook. It was a big thing for us on, the weekends to go to my grandmother's house, sometimes. And she, after church, she would cook. She always, I don't know if you guys know what pone bread is, but back then, without telling my age, pone bread is like, if you would think about biscuits,
Mhm.
homemade biscuits, not out of the can. And back then, they would make the biscuits with lard and buttermilk and stuff like that. So instead of like the little biscuits that you would put like 12 on a cookie sheet, pone bread was like three really big biscuits. And
Wow.
talking about so daggum good. It was made with lard, buttermilk, and the bread was so big that we had like a bread. Well, I mean, I know some places, they have like the bread plates, but we really had like the bread plates to put
Mhm.
our our biscuits in. And then margarine wasn't prevalent back then. So we
Mhm.
would have like the hunks of butter. I wasn't around when we like churned the cows, or I mean, I said churn the butter or anything. But well, I guess I was around, but that wasn't my thing. But they would have like the butter. She
Mhm.
would have like a butter dish, and then she would put like slithers. Ah, I'm telling you, if anything, if you brought home bread back, I believe the world would be like happier. Seriously.
Yeah. It would
But
probably, cure a lot of the ails in the world. And
absolutely, Delta, take flight, COVID. Yeah.
yeah, it would bring peace to the Middle East, probably.
What? Absolutely.
I mean, it couldn't hurt. We haven't tried that yet.
Yeah,
So
I'm telling you, we could be on to something. I'm
yeah.
telling you. But seriously, it was like, I mean, I can remember that because my mother was a nurse. Like I said, it was five of us, and she would cook 3 days a week. And I remember, I believe it's like the 25 pound or maybe 50 pound bags of like pinto beans. You
Mhm.
didn't always have to have meat. If you had like fatback meat, do you know what that is?
No, can you explain that?
Oh my god,
I may know it. It's just I just don't
so
know
good.
that term.
It's okay if you think of pork rinds.
Okay,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
so we call it fatback meat, and you put it in the oven. It's like bacon, like fat bacon, and really
All
really
right.
salty bacon.
Ooh.
So you put it in the oven, and you make the grease. That well, it makes its own grease, and then you use like the grease from the fatback meat, to season your collard greens, to
Mhm,
season your cabbage, to season your green beans, and stuff like that. So we would have like fatback meat. Maybe a pot of pinto beans with neck bones in them. Uh, Basically, what white people didn't want to have. We had the scraps. Let's just get to the meat potato of it. So back in slavery, like the
mhm,
parts of the pig that they didn't want, like we eat, or the parts of the chicken they didn't want, like they would throw the necks, the back, and all this bunch of
mhm,
stuff. Now I won't go so far as to say feet because that's a little, that's not me.
mhm.
But people would eat chicken feet. They would eat chicken back, chicken necks and stuff. I mean, it's really good. I'm gonna make you guys. I'm just gonna have a meal once a week that says "Trust me," and just have you guys eat it. Not trust me
I will
Thursday.
trust you because you have not
Yeah,
made anything horrible.
seriously, when I tell you that it's so good. So say if we had like meatless Monday, we would have like the fat back meat because that's not really a meat. It's just seasoned, but pinto beans, and they used to call them. I know they're Irish potatoes, but somewhere along the way we would say ice potatoes. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's not like mass. It's like mashed or anything, but it's you cut your potato up, hunks of potato, and you would put like butter and parsley and a little thickening to it. So you'd
Mhm,
have pinto beans, iced potatoes, a good hunk of cornbread with that butter in it. You understand? And that piece of
mhm.
fat back meat. I'm trying to tell you.
I'm getting hungry right now. Like,
No, it was really
no,
really
it's
good. And divorce was down then too, because I think everybody's just hungry and angry
oh
now.
yeah, yeah, exactly. When they were fed, they didn't like get
Yeah,
angry
they
or anything.
where they were asleep, they had the itis, so they
Yeah.
couldn't go next door to the neighbor. They could sleep in the recliner. But yeah, sorry, I'm sorry. I
Food
have no.
cures so much.
It does, but it no. Honestly, it's to me like emojis. I came up with the name because
Mhm.
well, they don't know, but my son was murdered. My only son was murdered 6 years ago. I'm like, I better stop smiling before they think I murdered them, right? It
Yeah.
wasn't that I love my son. But yeah, 6 years ago, this December, Joshua
Mhm.
was murdered, and that was our thing. Back then, my business was soul food the S&J way, so for Sarah and Josh.
Mhm.
So after he passed away, um, my heart was broke, and I couldn't, I never thought I could because that was our thing.
Mhm.
So once he passed, it was maybe about 2 years, and I was driving. He's up here. What is that? Rest Haven. He's at Rest Haven. Um, and I was driving by, and I made a habit of never, to go up there or anything because we were so close. We really were.
Mhm.
So it was hard, but I was driving by and I heard the word emojis because I was looking for a name, to come back. And I was like, emojis. So I'm thinking Emoji apostrophe S. And I was like, what does that mean? And then it was like emojis in memory of Josh and them soul food. So, and then it's like anyone that has passed. And it just goes hand in hand.
Mhm.
You're sad, and then you have that comfort food. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
how emojis came about.
That's great. I was about to ask how'd you come up with that and how did so you answered that right away. So I mean, you're doing it now. You do it basically mostly through request and via Facebook. And I know you put out your phone number and people can message you and request food. Now, where are you hoping Emojis goes in the next 5 years? Do you have a hope, or do you want to continue doing like kind of the request meals, or how you do it? Sometimes I know you put up and say, "Here's the meal of the day," and people call and order it. Or where are you hoping to go with this?
You asked me if I want to struggle or if I really want to make money. Is that what you're? I'm kidding.
I
I'm joking.
both.
No, what I want to do with emojis, and it's funny because with COVID, I won't even say that I've struggled, but it's been challenging with emojis
Mhm,
and stuff. But what I want to do with it, there's tons of restaurants, there's tons of carryouts and stuff like that. I want something that is going to be inclusive. When you go to you see how I'm describing the food, you haven't even tasted it, and you
mhm.
just smiling and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I want to have a place that's so the thing that when I had emojis over at the location I was at over at Elks Lodge, um, you had people from all walks of life that would come there. You
Mhm,
had the addicts that was in the in the back alley. You had homeless people. And honestly, not to sound ignorant or anything, I didn't know prior to being invited into that takeout group, I really didn't know that white people like soul food.
mhm,
And it was just by happenstance that while I had made $26 that day, and I was telling my little staff that we were going to have to close and not open, on weekends. And at that time, my phone pinged from the Frederick, back then it was the Frederick County Takeout Group. And Zachary Saltzman sent me a friend request to the thing. And while I'm having the meeting, because you see I have ADD, so I'm all over the place, but I sent out 10 pictures of my soul food just on a whim. And when I tell you that it took root so
mhm,
fast, and I haven't looked back, like this community. So what I want to do with emojis and stuff, they have become my family. You guys
mhm,
have honestly have become my family, my extended family. So I want to have a place that everybody, if you have problems or anything like that, that everybody can just come together, just feel welcome, over a good meal. I want to know everybody on, first name basis. You understand what I'm saying? I
mhm,
don't want money to be a deterrent of, whether they're able to eat or not. I just want, I want to heal through my meals. And that's what
mhm,
I want to do. So do I want to just sit up here and do it the way I only do it like this because of my circumstances, my current circumstance. But I
mhm,
trust God. I don't think it's going to be long. But yeah,
mhm,
I've had people that have wanted to invest, but I don't feel like it was the right investment for me, if that makes
mhm.
sense.
No, it doesn't. I mean, you don't wanna like, even though a lot of times people think, like, someone throws money at you and you're like, "Oh, why
Exactly.
didn't you take it?" It's like, well, there's always something attached to that, and
Exactly.
there's always an idea they have, and,
Absolutely.
like, it's very I mean, I've dealt with people investing in things
Yeah.
in my day, and where I thought it was a gift, it was not a gift. It was if you take this, you got to start doing this. And it's like,
Absolutely.
oh, wait, that wasn't what we agreed on. And
Yeah.
so,
And
I
that's what
mean,
I don't want. I don't want to I have, they comment on the food, or, when they call in, to emojis, they, I like I said, I just feel like it's an extension of my family,
mhm,
from them smelling the aroma, in the car, to everything. And I don't ever want it to be like, Sarah, you've been on that call for this. I don't want people to feel rushed. I don't want them
mhm,
to feel it's just about $1 with me, because it's not. I care. Like if I were in a position, you understand, I would, if I were on the position, in the position now, to do everything that I wanted to do, I mean, we would just have one great big,
mhm,
family, just
yeah.
breaking bread all the time together.
Well, I have to say that, like, the food we got from you was probably the first time that I've seen all of my kids and my nieces and nephews not complain about something. Like
Oh,
they like usually we'll get something and they'll be like, I don't like this. I don't, there's something they don't like. And they're none of them. It was all like, this was amazing. And for me, I actually
oh.
wanted to pull over and eat your food before I got it where it had to go. And like, cause it
That's
just, yeah, oh, it
right.
smelled so good. And I was just like, it was just it was phenomenal. I can't go on, stop talking about it. Like, and I'm getting hungry and I already ate dinner and I want to eat a second dinner now.
Well,
And
tomorrow, five
yeah,
ninety nine.
nice. Oh, definitely. So I'm curious of the different foods do you have a favorite meal that you love to make? Not, that
Absolutely. I like the smothered pork chops and the new rice. Have you had the new rice?
No, I've not had the new. I
Lord,
saw that you're now doing it now, and I was like,
there's an onion. It's a baked rice actually.
"Oh,
I bake it first. I mean, there's like so many steps to it, but the smothered pork chops over this onion mushroom rice,
mm,
fried cabbage, and I like to do sour cream cornbread.
oh, that
You
sounds."
talk about something that is so good. And then when I do, but my fiance always argues. There's an oxtail stew that I do. It's
Mhm,
cold, but it's so expensive. I really don't make any money off of it because it's so expensive. And I like to give good portions. And I
mhm,
don't charge enough, but let me tell you, it has beef, oxtails, black eyed peas, mixed vegetables, and I get like the big friggin' carrots and hunks of
yeah.
potato and ah, and then it
Oh
makes
my
its own gravy over some pork. That's I'm telling you, you guys. I'm gonna do a Trust Me Tuesday or a Trust
oh,
Me Thursday.
yes.
Have y'all to try it. You know what I mean? Because sometimes if you hear, like I say, oh, I'm gonna have turkey necks and rice, they're like, who in the hell is sucking on a turkey's neck? But
Yeah.
if you, yeah, I mean, if
I
you try, you
that's
seriously,
yeah,
nothing
that
that I put before you would you seriously
I
you
got
guys would absolutely, and I say this as humbly as I can. I mean, I do, I care about what I give to you guys.
mhm.
That's
Oh,
Sarah's hug, that plate too, me and
oh,
Guy.
definitely. I love it. I love it. Hug me all you want. So, now I'm now we have the holidays coming,
Uh-huh.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, like it's like a gamut of just food extravaganzas. What are like typically what are the meals? I obviously turkey, but like what are some of your favorite dishes to prepare during the holiday seasons? Are there like traditional soul food type of meals
Oh,
for those?
absolutely. Now in our so it's turkey,
Hmm.
stuffing, mashed potatoes with gravy. Um, well, they say stuffing dressing is the same thing. Mashed potatoes with gravy, collard greens. You have to have cranberry sauce, baked macaroni and cheese, um, pinto beans with like ham hocks or something in it. Pinto beans. What did I say? Cornbread, and then sweet potato pies. Like I pumpkin, it's always a debate
Hmm.
because in certain homes it's pumpkin pies and then in other homes it's sweet potato pies, but sweet potato pie, have you had a sweet potato pie?
I have actually. A friend of mine makes them every year, but unfortunately, because of COVID last year, I did not get one from him, and it's
Oh
something he
wow.
loves. And like I, the first time was
If,
probably 4 years
if
ago. He
you
gave me
get
one.
it to you. Yeah.
Yeah,
you,
it
you
was.
have to like the Cool Whip, and then we do pies too sometimes, like apple pie, but that the first one, that is like our staple. You come, that's what you're getting.
No, yeah,
Uh-huh.
I can handle that. I can handle all of that. So you're coming to my place for Thanksgiving, is
Uh-huh.
what I understand. You're gonna make this meal at my place, and you can't say no. You can't.
I can't.
Yeah.
Seriously, we're gonna do it down there too,
Yeah,
where the kids.
exactly.
We're gonna
Yeah,
just have
in here in the bunker, I'll
fun.
set it all up,
Absolutely.
and we'll eat. The kids won't come down here; they're afraid of
Yeah.
it,
No, the
and
kids are
so
gonna come because I think that the smell will seep out of the bunker, and then that's
no.
how you get the kids downstairs and the wife and the dog. They're
See, I
coming.
don't know if I want that, but that oh, that sounds so good. So,
Yeah.
uh, you've done. It's obviously you're doing it in memory. You're continuing it in memory of your
Oh
son,
yeah.
and so like I'm guessing as you do it, you still it probably brings back some really awesome memories as you're doing this. Like, and was it his idea or yours to start the cooking for other people? I'm curious about that because you said you used to do it together, and then
Well, what happened? I'm also a, prisoner's rights advocate. Um,
okay.
I advocate for the incarcerated and stuff. And my son, when he was alive, he had a record,
Mhm.
and he was upfront with his employer. about his record, and it was a door-to-door job. And he was selling, I think, electricity, selling electricity, to go to a cheaper company or
Yeah.
whatever. And he went to this particular door, and he had a beautiful, when I tell you, my goodness, he had a beautiful smile. And so the elderly lady, she really wanted to go based on his smile, but her son was a federal agent and whatnot. And he wanted to, for whatever reason, I mean, because, people run scams and stuff.
Mhm.
And so even though he was upfront with his employer about himself, he ended up getting fired in the field. And when he came home that day, because he was really trying, you
Mhm.
understand? And he was so upset. And my son didn't cry. And he came
Mhm.
home, he was frustrated. And it was right then and there. Because my life was full. I wasn't thinking about cooking other than for my family. And I said I would teach my son a craft. People are
Mhm.
always going to be hungry. So I wanted to teach him something that, he could make an honest living with, and something that he would enjoy doing. And initially he couldn't boil water. I'm so serious. It was awful. But his thing was, he did the fish, oh guys, my fried whiting,
Mhm.
and the chicken. And he had gotten so good that he could eye the tint of the flour. I mean, he if there was no measurements or anything, and he would have his little headphones on, and he used to call it whipping chickens. Is what he called it. And we did our thing. And then I would make plates from home.
Mhm.
And what I thought was good, we sold to like our sheriff's department, probation, parole, barber shops. So I would do like maybe fried whiting with yams and collard greens and cornbread, or maybe chicken with macaroni and cheese, green beans, corn, just plates, pre-made plates. And
Mhm.
I'm telling you, it was the aroma. All you had to do, I would make maybe about 20 plates. And he would go in, and as soon as you would go in, I mean, you could smell it coming from the boxes and stuff. And we sold out all the time. And I would,
Mhm.
sometimes let him take the entire, earnings for the day, just to feel like, well, he was contributing and stuff. So yeah, that's how it came about. And yeah, it was an honest way, you understand, to make a
Mhm.
living, is
Yeah.
what it was.
And it is amazing. And like actually, like you said, everyone has to eat. There's always going to be
Yes.
hungry people, and knowing how to cook and cook good. I
Oh,
mean, just
absolutely.
like knowing how to cook is one thing, but to cook as good as you,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole level talent that's beyond, like that's even beyond Julia Child's stuff. Like
But
like
I think that I know it's a gift. And I'm gonna share a story. I was in North Carolina, and
Mhm.
my best friend, she lost her husband recently. This is the NM that comes in emojis. She lost her husband unexpectedly. And I was down there, and she had, two daughters, and I never saw her. We've been friends for well over 30, maybe 40 years. And I'd never really seen her cry but once before, when she lost her father. And I drove to North Carolina nonstop. You know what I mean? I had to get there, see them and stuff. And her daughters were falling out in the yard, just so upset and stuff. And, I really only went down to stay like the day, and I was going to leave back. And they were so upset. And I was walking out of the door, and in my spirit, something said, "Tell them that you'll cook." And so I went, outside. They were in the yard, and I said, "Guys," I said, "I'll be back. I'm going to the grocery store. I'm going to get some things to cook." And they stopped. You know what I mean? They were grieving, and they
Mhm.
stopped mid grief, if that's a term.
Mhm.
And they looked at me and they smiled. You understand? So I went
Yeah.
to get the food, went into the kitchen, came back, was setting up, kitchen, and I'm hearing them, sitting around reminiscing about their loved one and stuff. And as the smell started coming, I could hear the conversation shift from, their father and her ex-husband to what I was cooking in the kitchen. You understand? And when I finished cooking, they got up, and when you lose someone, you lose your appetite too.
Mhm.
They had massive plates. And if you can take them away from that grief, And that's what emojis is. I mean, they were actually sitting around laughing, talking, enjoying.
Mhm.
And that's what means something to me. You
Mhm.
understand? So it's not anybody could take my recipe, but it's I don't want to say it's my system. It's the way you don't understand that what I do to bring it to bring it to you guys. Like I've seen people like say fried fish, and the fish is I mean the grease is so dirty and black and all this bunch of stuff. I would literally take a regular a pan like this. I would
Mhm.
take a pan like this. I would, fill the oil up to about here, season my fish, flour it up, do my little special stuff. And I would fry like maybe four, deep fry four at a time. And then I take it, I pat it, with the paper towel, and I would strain the grease after every four. You understand what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
you never taste burnt food from me. I mean, I
Yeah.
go that extra mile. It's to me, it's about quality. It's not about
Mhm.
quantity for me. I
Yeah.
could put out way more plates if I didn't my process. That's what I wanted to say. I could
Mhm.
put out way more plates and stuff like that, and maybe compromise, on the flavor of this. And I never want to do that. I want to always give you guys quality. I'm not worried about quantity.
Yeah.
No, I never want to get so big that people can't have the experience that your family had, that my girlfriend's family had. I never want to rise it. Money doesn't mean that much to me. I want people to have a relationship with my food. So
Mhm. Oh, definitely. And like I said, like my dad once said, like you can't if you have a disagreement with someone, the best way to fix it is to eat
yeah,
together. And
absolutely.
and especially if you eat something good. Like I wouldn't say go to like McDonald's and have a Big Mac together because
Yeah,
you may come away angrier. But nothing against McDonald's, but it's just
yeah,
oftentimes I come out of McDonald's and I'm like, I shouldn't have eaten that. That wasn't
yeah.
but your food I came in with, that was amazing, I want more. Um,
Thank
so I had a question for you about that. So when you, how do you decide what meals? Because I know you do different meals every day. Do you have a rotation, or is it just how what you're feeling that day?
you. No, it's actually what's on sale at the grocery store. So if
Okay.
I go, I might say I want to do wings, but I don't understand that because the wings are, with the rest of the chicken, I don't know. You can find breast, you can find legs, you can find thighs, and I'm just like, are these things, are they born without wings? Where the hell are the wings?
Hmm.
Because I can find the other parts of the chicken. It's crazy. It's like a wing shortage.
Yeah.
So I have to go. I mean, I'll come on if you see, and I'll ask, if you guys want this or that. But because it's me, and because I'm, I don't want to say so small, but
Mhm.
because it's primarily myself, and I mean, my situation. I've been displaced. So I have to go with what's on sale. So I go daily. When I can cook, and then I just put things together. And I mean, I'll always have sides, but it just depends on what's on sale as far as the entree, the meat goes.
Gotcha. See, what I do find amazing, like, because I do know some of your situation. I don't know everything, but one thing that has really impressed me about you is that no matter what's going on in your life, you are super positive, especially online and in the social media world. Positiveness is it's like shocking. Like people don't like I read your post about you had with the credit or the banker.
Navy Federal.
Yeah, the Navy Federal guy, and it was hilarious. I mean, but it was
Yeah,
like it's totally the opposite of the way I react to those things. But how you
yeah.
reacted to the man and you had that talk, and then you were right. Like within,
But
like you said, like, yeah.
yeah, today, and you have to. I mean, because I feel like when you made me cry,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I feel like when you go through things, it's not for you.
Mhm. It
It's
no,
not. not for you to hold on to. And we can react one or two ways. I could sit back and feel sorry for myself, or I can
Mhm,
roll with the punches. And I can't really advocate for people. You understand, if I've never experienced pain.
mhm,
I can't tell somebody to get over something, if I've never experienced struggle. And I don't think this is a hard struggle. I reached out to the mayor's office today, to get a little bit of help, to get emojis back running. And immediately they wanted to put me in housing. They wanted me to get, Section 8 or whatever. And I said, no. I mean, I'm not looking for a hand out. I'm looking for a hand up.
mhm,
There are families that need this. I don't need this. I can make my money. Just, give me an opportunity. I'm paying almost $100 here at the hotel that I'm staying in. I'm not getting any assistance with that.
mhm,
I have to make things, happen the way they do legally. But I won't take help. I just feel like they're tail backwards. You know what I
mhm.
mean? It's like they kind of make the lazy lazier, and it's like there's nothing for like people that are in the middle.
Yeah,
So he was so impressed because I could have easily, went and I'm not saying some people, God forgive me, because I don't know people's situations. So let me just take that back.
mhm,
But I want to make money. I want to work.
mhm.
You understand? I want to
Yeah,
have, a place to live. But they're jacking prices up and all this bunch of stuff. But I mean, even through all of this, I see God moving. So I mean, I don't feel sorry for myself. I mean, I could be worse places than the Hilton. You
mhm,
understand? I mean, I could be in here and not have a gift. And and the way you guys are, like I said, I mean, my account was in the negative yesterday. I'm almost out of that. And like I told him, 6 days. And look at this. This was the next day.
mhm.
And I hope he's watching that, because I've never seen somebody get off the phone so happy to not get their money. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? He really was. And that's how I want people to leave me,
yeah,
because he knows he can look over my history and he can see that when I had it, I paid for it. So yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not looking for a handout, just a hand up. That's it.
yeah. So so on that note, where can people go? Like I know where to go, but tell people, how can they get food from you? Where should they go if they want to order a meal, keep track of what's coming and all that?
They could call me on 240-529-3724,
Mhm.
or 240-344-6655. Or I can be found on Facebook, Sarah, Sarah, Celesta, Celeste, Coleman, Coleman. You can send me a friend request on there. And then yeah, emojis, is Imojae apostrophe s. So just
Yeah,
send one of those places.
yeah. You're
Like
there. They'll find it.
I'm everywhere, absolutely. But yeah,
And I absolutely say, you have to find her and you have to eat her food, and
yeah.
you will never be able to thank me enough for telling you to go eat
So,
Sarah's food. You'll get hugged from God and her at the same time, and you'll know it.
there.
And then you won't want to move. You'll just accept the hug and sit there and enjoy it like I did.
Absolutely.
But I
No.
want to thank you for coming on. I know that you're busy. You got lots of things going on in your life.
Yeah, I'm gonna prep and cook.
Yeah. And so I thank you again for being here with me. And I hope to have you on again as we
Thank I
get more and
appreciate
more from you. So,
thank
and
you so much.
oh, well, of course, I had to have you on. I was like, you were like top priority. I was like, I have to get Sarah.
Oh, no, I
So,
appreciate you. Thank you so much. This is an honor. Thank you so
yeah.
much.
And I look forward for Trust Me Tuesday. So, so
Absolutely. And we
yeah,
can say see it was birth right here with
exactly.
us.
Yes, I'm excited about it. So,
Yes. So
yes, and for those of you listening, as always, stay safe and keep searching.
The Fedora Files.
Check out fedoracrt.com today.